with the iPad?
1 to 10?
Mm-hmm.
8.
An 8, okay. And how do you think the Alpha Smart compares to the iPad?
It's like the evolution of the calculator. You had displayed where you could display 8 characters and then 12 characters and 14 characters. It's just a further development of interactivity and visual response and then input capability. So it's just all has expanded. And like so, we used to replace a lot of batteries with the Alpha Smart. Well, the iPad lasts for 7-8 hours. So every part about it has evolved, not just the visual part of it or the display part of it or the input part of it or the technology itself. And that's it.
Okay. How ready were you for the iPads when the school district decided to begin using them?
Not ready at all. I'd had an iPod, and it was just basically music. So no actual storage or not actually a processor. It was actually a computer. So it was very eye opening and a pretty big learning curve.
Okay. Have there been any challenges for you in maintaining the iPads in the classroom?
Yes.
Would you elaborate with that?
Well, iPads and iPods, we have multiple carts. We have up to like carts that contain 40 devices and iPads that contain 20 and 30 pieces. And at first, there was not a set way of doing things. We didn't have one Apple ID everything wasn't very consistent. Mm-hmm. You had teachers that had iPod carts, they would download all the apps they want, and then individuals would download apps that they want on those. So nothing was consistent, and nothing was truly managed. And you had to know which device you were getting each time to get the same apps on each one, and they weren't really ever managed properly like computers are as far as this management. So.
And are they doing a better job about that now? Is that something they've improved on?
Well, it's getting better, but we've developed, this. Each school has their own local IDs, and then some grade levels have their own logins for their Apple IDs. So they're getting more consistent, and we've always managed them with iTunes in the past.
Right.
And now Apple has a new configurator, which is their newest program to actually manage the devices.
Okay.
And it still has some limitations, and we're just now, developing step-by-steps to where we can actually image them just like we do computers.
Right.
Like whatever apps you want in this one, if something happens to it and you have to do it again from scratch and reset it, you don't have to load all the apps in one by one. You can just restore it from a backup pretty easy now. So it's getting better. It's a lot better than it has been. So
okay.
Getting better.
What would you suggest is the best way to navigate and utilize the iPad in the classroom?
Navigate and utilize. There's an app called Reflector that is used in some classrooms, which actually displays your iPad through the LCD projector onto the Promethean board. And you can, however you manipulate the iPad, you can project it on the screen. And it's just a matter of apps and configuring it to how you teach and what you teach. And there are a lot of good uses for it, but the Reflector app is one of the best utilizations of it because you can use it as a scratch pad or whatever interactive games. You can just pass the pad around and they can interact with everybody else watching. So.
Okay. What do you think technology has changed the most in the classroom over the last decade?
The attention span. You're not following along reading paragraph by paragraph with some book that somebody else reads or waiting your turn to read. You have a device that you can interact with and operate at your own speed and develop, skills independently than whatever the rest of the class is doing. So I think that's been the biggest difference. It's created more independence than instead of a, step-by-step process.
What impact has changes in technologies had on the school district?
Budget. budget and budget and budget. It costs so much money, and you don't stop with just one computer or one iPad. You have to buy the apps. You have to buy the programs. You have to buy the online like Study Island and all the other courses and stuff. So it's a continuing, developing process.